Hi guys, it's Nina from VRFocus. I'm joined by...
Steve Bowler, president of ClougGate Studio.
So tell me a little bit about ClougGate Studios and who you are, what you do.
So ClougGate Studio makes premium VR entertainment products, typically games, but we've been dabbling into the experience realm lately for LBE and arcades.
So what type of VR games have you guys been creating beforehand? So maybe some people might know who you are.
Oh, so I think we were initially famous for being the guys who made the Brookhaven Experiment demo, and then after that we formed ClougGate and we made Ion 359, which we just launched out of early access into full release last month at the end of February. So thank you. Yes, we're actually happy. Everybody go buy it right now. Then most recently, which we just saw just now, was the Pacific Rim Uprising experience called Shatterdome Showdown, which I imagine is coming to VR arcades or movie theater pop-ups and stuff. And that was done in conjunction, it was done for Legendary Studios, designed and directed by Pure Imagination Studios in conjunction with ClougGate.
Wow, so are you guys doing these more often, or is this like a common trend that's happening right now of filmmakers coming to you guys and taking IPs that exist in the film world and taking them into virtual reality?
Yeah, so I think we're finally seeing a little bit more from Hollywood of interest from going to experienced developer houses to create this sort of content. Because we've said before when we were working in other game industries that just because it's a movie tie-in doesn't mean it has to be bad, which was the old console day curse, right? That oh, you don't want to play that game that's based on a movie because it's going to be terrible. They crapped it out really fast. So we've done other movie and TV tie-ins before, and they perform pretty well. And Pure Imagination Studios, we're friends with them, and they're some really great guys. So they reached out to us to see if we could do this one, and we were more than happy to because we're huge Pacific Rim fans. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so hopefully we've got more of these in the pipe.
Can you roughly kind of describe the experience if people were to try it out or were curious about it?
Sure, yeah. So it's a really short, 6-7 minute experience that's just designed to get you a taste of the Pacific Rim Uprising universe. And it starts out with you're a cadet, and you're not a full-fledged ranger, and you're just supposed to be going on a tour, and maybe you're going to go sit in Gypsy's cradle for a while, the drift cradle. And of course there's a kaiju attack, and there's nobody else there to help. And the Shatterdome breaks, and you can't really get into the drift cockpit yet. And so your co-pilot instructs you to grab the engineering gauntlets that let them move the Jaeger arms around, and you get to defend the Shatterdome from the kaiju when it comes through the wall, sort of puppeteering Gypsy. And it's a really fun experience that uses our virtual self-solve, which is part of the reason why they came to us, because we already had that working, so that you can control Gypsy and beat the heck out of a kaiju.
It seems like there's a lot of beating the crap out of stuff whenever you're involved, which I think is a good thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of ClougGate's brand. I think since the beginning we've always tried to convey that emotion that you get when you go to a blockbuster action movie, and the summer blockbuster action movie, and you're I wish I could do that, and we're kind of here, right? We're trying to that you have that empowerment fantasy of okay, I do get to control Gypsy and beat the heck out of the kaiju, and that's really cool. In Ion 359, okay, go on this island and kill dinosaurs while they're trying to kill you. Yeah, so that's kind of been our goal and our focus when we try to pick projects, whether it's incoming stuff like this or our own internal IP that sort of fits the stuff that we want to work on.
Mm-hmm. Does that mean that you sort of this experience is before you go to the film or after?
It can be either. It's not going to spoil the movie for you. And I don't know if it would make your movie experience better or not. It's really just more about you get to participate in the Pacific Rim universe, and interact with a kaiju, the way a Jaeger wants to. And I think since it's going to be at movie theaters, I think there's a real opportunity for people just to hey, I'm waiting for my movie, and I'll just jump in and play this, right, and get to experience it there.
Do you know on which headsets people will be trying this on?
So I'm pretty sure it's going to be on both Vive and Oculus Touch. I know we made it work for both, and the client requested that it works on both. We're not really tied to the China launch, so we're not going to be there and see what they're going to play it on. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to work on both.
Awesome. Are you working on other stuff that's film related, IP wise?
Kind of. We can't say what it is right now, but we definitely are we have another thing in the pipe that we're going to do with Pure Imagination Studios that it's technically been announced yet, but not all of our participation in it, so I can't really quite say what it is just yet. And while it's not necessarily a Hollywood IP specifically, it still fits with that, like, it's a gigantic IP brand that everybody would recognize.
Okay. What's it like working in that world? Is it really strange to suddenly make these things come to life in VR?
It's a lot of fun, right? It's like wish fulfillment as developers for us because we get to work on some of the IP that we've grown up with or really enjoyed, you know? And sometimes it's challenging because you're dealing with movie houses and they have their own set of ideas of what they want you to accomplish or how you want to go about it and things like that. So it's always a collaboration and you have to go back and forth and work with them on it.
Is that quite complicated to explain to a filmmaker who's traditionally from 2D to then explain to them that immersive interaction and what's possible and what's not possible?
It's even hard from even working from a game developer to a VR developer. So yes, like film to VR developer is an even bigger divide, right? It's an even bigger gap of knowledge of like how VR works versus how film works. And like I said, even from game developer to VR developer, there's issues there. At one point, they wanted the ending to be like a cinematic ending, like you would get in a video game, and we're like, we can't take control of the camera away, and that's part of what, like, it's great that they reached out to us to help make this because we were able to communicate to them like we've learned the best practices of VR, and that's great for games and great for movies, but not quite for VR. So we're going to take what you wanted, your intent, and we're going to shift it and turn it around into like a really great action ending for VR. You know, so it's like that kind of like learning and guiding process. And that's what I mean. It's a collaboration that they say, this is what we want. Can we have it? And we either say yes or we say no, but here's another solution that we can try.
So is there a website for people to find out more information about you guys?
ClougGate Studio is always clougate.studio. And we really need to update it because we haven't updated that much. Really, the most recent info about ClougGate you can find on Twitter or Facebook.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Hey, thank you.
Head over to VRFocus.com if you want to find out more about VR, and I will see you there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yay!
Oh,
Back to slouching.